Everybody trying to be content creators and trying to go viral. You want to go viral?
Okay, you want to go viral. Let's go viral then.
Say let.
Let go.
Let's embrace it. Let's love it. Let's enjoy it. And let's give them the experience of their life. That's Roswell for you, baby. Come together. And guys, this is Speaking Out Loud. I appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to share and dance like you just don't care. It's early in the morning. Let's have a day. And like I said, be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS.
Good morning and welcome to Speaking Out Loud. I am your host, Rene Ruiz. And today, we will not be joined by the one with the buys, the one with the tries, the one with the broad chest, John Bower. We won't be joined by him. He's on his way to San Francisco for family time for the festivities of Christmas. So Merry Christmas to all. Let's have a wonderful show today. This is Tuesday, December 23rd, 6:31, coming at you live from Roswell, New Mexico. I appreciate you guys waking up and getting ready with me this morning. That beat in the background, it's a whole vibe. Last night, well, we saw Jay. It's me and Jay, the producer, here in the back. So whenever I say Jay, that's who I'm talking to. But last night, Brock Purdy put on a show. Not only him, but that old man, Grandpa Phillip Rivers, put one on for us last night. Started off great, right? 14-7 there in the first quarter. Brock Purdy in that offense looks scary, very scary. CMC getting it going, but most importantly, Brock Purdy looking like a top 5 quarterback in the league to start off that game. Then we get to the second half, both teams again putting up points. We get to halftime, and it's 24-17. I would say both teams were performing very well. Phillip Rivers missed a couple passes there in the second quarter that could have kept them closer in the game. But the 49ers slowly pulled away, putting up 10 points in the third quarter and then ending the game with 2 touchdowns. Brock Purdy had 1 interception. But other than that interception, you can almost say Brock Purdy had a perfect game. I mean, looking like Steve Young out there. Let me read you guys this wonderful stat on the 49ers real quick, or on Brock Purdy. What a absolute dog. 5 touchdowns to win that game on Monday Night Football on the biggest stage. But shout out to Grandpa Phillip Rivers, man. He put up a fight. The way he started that game, I really thought the Colts had a chance there. I was excited. I got excited. It was a good opportunity for the Colts to try to save themselves and sneak into the playoffs. I saw a stat that said the Colts started the season 7-1, and since Daniel Jones' injury, we're sitting at 1-6. You kind of feel for Shane Steichen. Seems like a good coach for the cards that he's been dealt. It's unfortunate that he just continues to get hit with injuries after injuries. Because, I mean, we've seen what Shane Steichen's capable of. He was able to get the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl as the offensive coordinator, and then moved on to Indianapolis. And since being in Indianapolis, I mean, what his quarterbacks have been, Phillip Rivers before this, Phillip Rivers, Daniel Jones. No, and that's not a shot at Daniel Jones. Obviously, is playing great, but I don't know that was expected by many. Before Daniel Jones, they had brought in Phillip Rivers again. And then before Phillip Rivers, we got Anthony Richardson, Phillip Rivers. Jay, what am I missing? There's another old man that they had. We went through Gardner Minshew, and then was it Nick Foles? Was it Nick Foles, Jay? I think it was Nick Foles. But they've been around the ringer with quarterbacks there in Indianapolis. And what's the answer for them next year? That's TBD, because obviously with an ACL, Daniel Jones probably won't be back there to start. I think he's expected to, but what is he going to be? I think what we've seen off of ACL injuries in the past is it takes about a year for them to ramp up and get back to normal. And if there's one more, if the Colts can get, we kind of do this. Me and Borb have been doing this with a couple of teams where it's like, if we can just get consistent, decent QB play with the team that's surrounded around them, the possibilities of some of these teams are endless. I mean, you look at this Colts team, a defense led by DeForest Buckner, and then Agent Zero there at the safety position, who came from Minnesota. Bynum, that's Borba's boy. He seems like a turnover machine. Got a pick yesterday. Got the one pick over Brock Purdy yesterday. He's the guy that does the fun celebrations in the end zones after turning the ball over. But then they got Sauce Gardner, and then they got Buddy that they got from San Francisco. I forgot his name, but he's number 7. Cardavius Ward, I believe. So they got a stout defense. They got a solid pass rusher, a good secondary, a solid safety. Maybe they're just missing someone at the linebacker position. But on offense, I mean, they got 2 solid wide receivers or 3 solid wide receivers, and Jonathan Taylor. And really, we're just missing just decent quarterback play, and they got that this year, and we saw what they were capable of. And obviously, it goes down with injury, but it's just like, dang, that injury bug. The injury bug is a killer. It's a killer. I hate injuries. I wish we could watch these games like Madden and just turn the injury setting off. Right, Jay? That would be ideal. That would be ideal. But let me pull this up real quick. Niners get a win, 48-27. And here's the stat that I was talking about. According to Next Gen Stat, Brock Purdy has a 144.6 passer rating when targeting George Kittle this season, the highest between any quarterback wide receiver duo in the last 5 seasons, minimum 50 targets. I like how they stated that stat, saying the highest between any quarterback receiver duo. And this is why tight ends want more money, because they aren't just wide receivers, they're also pass blockers. So you can almost say that they're a wide receiver and an offensive line. The skill position, this is a skill position. Tight ends matter. And George Kittle is putting on for them boys. Also, Brock Purdy became the first 49ers quarterback to throw 5 passing touchdowns since Steve Young threw 6 passing touchdowns back in January 29th, Super Bowl 1995. Oh, Brock Purdy's putting his name up there with some absolute dogs, Jay. Is Brock Purdy the guy? Uh, I think we gotta go backpedal just a little. And for a lot of the naysayers of Brock Purdy, I think it's fair to say Brock Purdy's pretty good. Brock Purdy right now probably top 5 as of these past 5 weeks. And in this division, Jay, let's pull up the graphic here for the division. This division's tight. This division's close. And this division is up for grabs on really whoever wants to take it. We're talking about a 1-game differential from the Seahawks at the 1 seed to the Rams and the Niners sitting at 2 and 3 going into the final 2 weeks of the season. Let's pull it up. For the final 2 weeks of the season, here we go. You got the NFC West standings. Seahawks sitting at 12 and 3. The Niners sitting at 11 and 4. Rams sitting at 11 and 4. And then obviously the Cardinals at 3 and 12, which don't matter. What's going on with the Cardinals? Kyler Murray may be getting moved out of there. Will they do a swap of just Kyler Murray for maybe Tua Tagovailoa? Why not? With the way those contracts are set up, let's just get an even swap and let's start fresh. Give Mike McDaniels Kyler Murray, and let's see what he can do with him. I think that would actually be better for the Miami Dolphins. I like a Kyler Murray with someone like a Mike McDaniels. 49ers went from a 21% chance to a 32% chance after yesterday's win for the number 1 seed. The Niners' remaining schedule is the Bears and the Seahawks, which we'll touch on the Bears here in just a second after all the criticism that we had towards them yesterday. But you got the Niners finishing the season against the Bears and Seahawks. The Bears game this weekend is the game that JB will be at, so that'll be a fun experience for our boy, and he'll have some footage on Overreaction Monday for us to look at to see what the experience is like at Levi Stadium. Not only because he's going to the game, but because the Super Bowl this year will be held at Levi Stadium, so we'll get a little bit of a glimpse, a little bit of a feel of what that's going to be like. And that's going to be a playoff atmosphere that JB is going to be a part of. So that's going to be sick. That's going to be pretty sick, man. JB, what is he going to wear? He said he was just going to wear a casual tee, just a casual tee to the game. Doesn't want to get squared up on or anything crazy. So sounds like he's just going with the blank tee as a cash to enjoy a football game. But I'll tell you what will change that quickly is if JB just pulls out a $100 bill, $200 bill, slaps it on the 49ers money line. And I'll tell you what, he may not put on a 49ers shirt, but he might get a little festive, throw on a hat or two with a little bit of red. You slide a couple of dollars, and all of a sudden you become a fan of whoever it is that you're going for. That's what betting has changed for all of us. You put a couple bucks, all of a sudden the fandom is like, let's go. You could throw a jersey on. I know I've definitely been in those situations, especially as of late with my team not doing very well, the Cowboys being out, not looking great for us, but it is what it is. The Rams' remaining schedule, they go to Atlanta this weekend, and then to end the season, they have the 3-12 Cardinals. And then the Seahawks are at the Panthers, or at Carolina this weekend, and then they end the season at San Francisco. So, with that being said, the road to the number 1 seed is the most difficult for the Seahawks. Obviously, they got the Panthers who are fighting for their playoff life. The Panthers have the Seahawks this weekend, and then to end the season, they will play the Buccaneers for more than likely what will be the division. Because when we look at that matchup this weekend, you got to give the Seahawks the benefit of the doubt. Coming off a massive loss, they have the extended rest, somewhat. Some of us call it the mini bye, to prepare for the Panthers. So I think you would give the edge to the Seattle Seahawks in this matchup. So then that would leave that Week 18 game to basically be the start of the playoffs for the Panthers and the Buccaneers. And that gets juicy. Of course, that can all go straight out the window if the Bucs lose this weekend. That can go straight out the window if the Bucs lose this weekend. So these last 2 weeks, although they meet, there will be a bunch of games that don't matter whatsoever, especially after yesterday with the Niners beating the Colts. A bunch of teams clinched, but now it's all about playoff positioning. And right now in a league where we don't necessarily know who's good or who's great, and there's no one that has pulled themselves away from the pack. In my eyes, I think it's the Rams, although they came off that although they're coming off that loss against the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Rams have shown that they're the superior team, especially in the NFC. And of course, we can't forget about the Philadelphia Eagles because of what they've shown us they're capable of doing last year, winning the Super Bowl. It's got a stout defense still, getting Jalen Carter back. That's huge. Him and Jordan Davis clogging up the middle, getting pressure on the quarterback. So we can't shy away. The Eagles are a prime example of what the NFL is right now, because we don't know. We just don't know anything, and it's like we're waiting. We're waiting for that little click, for something to click in Philadelphia to get them moving, because they still have the same pieces. Lane Johnson coming back, so that's going to help the running game. And if the running game gets going in Philadelphia, all of a sudden, scariest team in the league. And the way that they're ending the season, these are get-right games for them. We saw what happened last week whenever they played Washington. They're going to play Washington one more time to end the season. And if that gets them to click, boy, oh boy, it's going to be scary. But the road is going to come through. Like, you got to go through Philly before you get to the NFC Championship. So I'm shaking out my boots just a little bit. When you look at that playoff picture, like right now, depending on how the season ends, right, it's going to be either going to have the Rams or the Seahawks or the Niners sitting at 1. And then the battle for 2, Chicago or Philly. Chicago having a tough schedule to end the season, this weekend being the 49ers. So where do they fall? If they fall to 3, and now you got to think that whoever the whoever doesn't win the division in the West, the NFC West, Chicago will have to face either the Rams, San Francisco, or Seattle. So to me, this game this weekend between the 49ers and Chicago, that's when Chicago will get my respect. All the criticism that we've had towards the Bears and Caleb Williams, although he is a comeback king as of this year, where he's at like 6 or 7. He is the comeback king, right? As they say. Burr is cold in here. There must be some Caleb in the atmosphere, right? But the criticism is what's going to happen. And we're not going to use the excuses of injuries because we've seen how good this 49ers team has been without Nick Bosa. So we're not going to use that at all. And I'll say it now. We're not going to use that at all. So if JB even tries to plug that, I'll stop him. If I try to plug it, you guys stop me. We're not using the injury thing here. Caleb Williams goes into San Francisco on the road and puts it on him. We will have no choice but to put our hands up and say, hey, boy, were we off on that one. But if our blinders are on right, and Caleb is, or this Bears team is what we've been saying, where it's just a little too early. So let's pump the brakes a little bit, Bear fans. Let's not get too obnoxious. Let's enjoy what's in front of us. Let's enjoy these victories humbly. Because it's been fun, man. This Bears team has been fun. And if you follow the show, you know that week after week, whenever we go into the locker rooms on Overreaction Monday, when we go into the locker rooms, it's been the Bears, right? Because they've been winning. It's been the Bears and the Jags, the two most fun locker rooms that we've been in the past few weeks. And the Bears one, it's more fun for me because it's JB's divisional opponent. So whenever I throw him on, you can just see JB's face. It's like, I don't want to see this crap. And to me, it's like, go better best, better get a rest, or however. What you would think I would know the chant by now for how many times we've seen it. But if they get this win against San Francisco this weekend, I mean, it's got to shut us all up, right? Because we've been saying that they can't do this for 4 consecutive quarters against a good team that's really going to put the pressure on them. And I don't think they can do that against the San Francisco team. Look at how the offense is clicking for them right now. Kyle Shanahan is in his bag, as you saw in the post-game interview with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy says those exact words. It was fun tonight because Kyle Shanahan was in his bag, and in his bag it was. I mean, you watch a lot of those run plays and all that motion, all that moving around at the line there. Like, come on, man. I get confused watching the damn thing. It's like, yo, someone's got to jump. And then CMC just jumps through a hole, crashes for like 20 yards, which is my boy. As you can tell, I'm joined here by my future date on a debt that I got to pay by Friday. And on the shirt, it says he sucks at fantasy football. It's a debt that I was supposed to pay a year ago or several months ago. And now fast forward 2025, and your boys in the championship game against the one guy who's been on my butt about paying this debt. So I got to pay it, or I got to fumble, or I'm going to fumble the bag. That's what the boys have put at stake here. But that's the kind of pressure I have on Caleb Williams this weekend. Can you do it against a good team? We understand the whole comeback king thing, but you can't watch the games. You can't tell me you watch games and just ignore the first 3 quarters of a game. And if anything, we praise Caleb. We praise Caleb. It's fun. The Bears season has been fun to watch. It's been cool. It's just like the beginning of the year of the football season when Baker Mayfield was getting those fourth quarter wins the first 5 weeks. Like everybody was on the Baker Mayfield train, but the one thing that we stayed consistent on was, we can't ignore the fact that Baker Mayfield and the Bucs are putting themselves in these situations to have to come back. And then now look at them. Now it's biting them in the butt. Now it feels like fatigue is kicked in. And if we learned anything about fatigue this weekend, you look at that Jake Paul fight, and it's like, boy, whenever you get tired, you ain't going nowhere. You're a statue, son. You're just standing right there getting ready to get hit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If we learned anything, is at what point will that luck run out? And I referenced that Bucks. I referenced the Bucks at the beginning of the year because I mean I know you guys remember those comeback wins from Baker Mayfield there in the fourth quarter. It was fun. I mean, at one point we're like Baker Mayfield in the MVP conversation. Now, if you notice, there's nothing that conversation is not coming up with Caleb. Why is that? Why is that? For a team with as much success as they're having with him at the helm, how is the quarterback not? If we're gonna say that he's a top 5, top 3 quarterback in the league, and this is just me reacting to comments. This is not necessarily everybody that's watching. But we can't say we don't know ball, and then we're just going to ignore the first 2 quarters. That's all I'm saying. But this weekend will shut us up, for sure. For sure. Put it on the 49ers. But Brock Purdy looks good, Jay. Brock Purdy looks good. 5 touchdowns, putting his name alongside Steve Young. Do we know who Steve Young is? You guys know who Steve Young is? One of the GOATs. Granted, I got to see the Is Steve Young. Some would say second best of all time. Some would. I don't know if I'm gonna say that. Some would say though, what a dog, left-handed, Super Bowl champ. I got to watch the back end of that of Steve Young, but according to my unks, man, I think that's what got our pops into liking that Niners team was Steve Young. And introduced to the 49ers as a young boy, just a bit confused. What team did I low-key, if I go back in history of my life, of what I remember, we all have like I'm gonna assume we all have a picture of us in 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 another team's t-shirt or jersey, right? Jay, is that fair to say, Jay? Do you think most people have a jersey or I mean a picture of themselves like in a different jersey or a different t-shirt or maybe like a hat? For sure. I think for me it was a 49er shirt and it was because my fam was kind of split between Niner fans and Cowboy fans. And Cowboy fans being the team that was the head of my household. So of course it got kind of pushed into my face a little more. I slowly fell in love with them. But growing up, when I would hang out with my uncles, they were all 49er fans. So you could find a picture of me a little bit in a 49er uniform. And I enjoy watching the 49ers. They're pretty cool. It's my brother's favorite team also, so it's fun to root for them and seeing their success now. And they're one of the stories that at this point now, you almost feel for them. You almost have like an emotional attachment to the 49ers because of the things that they've gone through year after year. And then yet again, it's hit them again. And at what point will those injuries come back to bite them? And now we look at the season this year with the Super Bowl being in San Francisco, Levi Stadium, they're hosting the Super Bowl this year. Why not Brock Purdy and the 49ers make a generational run, as I like to use? Why not the 49ers making a generational run to not only be a part of a Super Bowl, but host a Super Bowl? The last time we saw this was another GOAT, Mr. Tom Brady, when he made his move over to Tampa Bay. If we remember that correctly, during the COVID years, Tampa Bay not only hosted the Super Bowl, they made it to the Super Bowl, and they opened up the world back after 2020 had occurred. And not only that, but they go in and win the Super Bowl, which I believe was the first time. I think Jay, correct me if I'm wrong here, but that was the first time ever that that a team that was hosting the Super Bowl also won the Super Bowl. So they opened up the door for teams like San Francisco to have hope that they can not only host the Super Bowl, but get to the Super Bowl. And this year, outside of Nick Bosa being hurt, why not? Why not Brock Purdy, CMC, George Kittle, Trent Williams, and out of nowhere, Jawan Jennings? And what blows my mind, and they got Pearsall, a buddy that got shot. That's a whole story within itself. Like all the stories surrounding these teams. I mean, CMC coming off a massive injury. All the hate that he got because of fantasy owners from last year. And now he's paying us back graciously. George Kittle's story, Trent Williams' story. And then you go to the defense, and it's like Robert Saleh's story. Like this 49ers team, it's hard not to be emotional about it. It's hard not to think back about that little picture of me in my little 49ers shirt and being like, oh, there's something there. Especially when my team sucks. Especially when my team sucks. I'm just out here like a little hoochie trying to find me something to get through. That's where I'm at. I'm a football hoochie. Just trying to find my team, trying to find my story. And this 49ers team, man, it sure does have a fun story to follow. And if they can somehow, this would really be a Cinderella story if the 49ers can get to the Super Bowl this year and host. Not just take part, but host. And not just take part, but have a good chance to win. Robert Saleh on that defense. I'm going to make the assumption that Robert Saleh won't be there, won't be a 49er next year. I believe that he'll get a head coaching job. I believe he should get the Cleveland Browns head coaching job. I would prefer if he somehow went to Dallas. Don't know how that would happen, but that would be nice if he was in Dallas. I wouldn't even be upset. I love Shoddy. I love the season that Shoddy had. I think him holding players accountable. Now, should he have held his DC accountable? Probably. But I wouldn't even be upset if we went the New England Patriots route and just got rid of our first-year head coach and brought in Robert Saleh and gave him the helm similar to what they did with Mike Vrabel. We have to – I hate to get off the 49ers here because that's such a good story. Great story. One of the best stories in the NFL right now. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, last pick of the draft. CMC come, bro. Jay, am I wrong here when I say that the 49ers might have the most cinematic story to the road to the Super Bowl? If it lines up for this team, man, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Whenever they start, you know how we have that 2-week space between the last playoff game and then the Super Bowl. Those stories, as they start building them up, I'm telling you right now, man, a little bit of a tearjerker. A bit of a tearjerker, I think. Whenever we start seeing all these in-depth stories about each player, we're gonna fall in love. We're gonna get to that Super Bowl and be like, damn. We're gonna look back on this Niners team and be like, yo, how great! How'd they even get here without Nick Bosa at that? Now, do the Niners have their issues on the defensive end of the ball? Sure. And that's why I'm saying it's gonna be a great story if they get there. Cinderella story in my head. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Attach me. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan's story. How did I forget that? John Lynch's story. If anything, Kyle Shanahan alone, that story alone, it's a bit of a tug pull, a little pull here on the heart. Like going to the Super Bowl, blowing one of the greatest leads of all time. I mean, the guy had Todd Gurley in his backfield and decided not to use him anymore. They blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. Then he goes to the 49ers, gets them to the Super Bowl, loses again. And the story, and some people calling for his job at one point last year. And it's like, yo, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. How are you going to blame a coach for injuries? I mean, they've been trying to find their quarterback for who knows how long at this point. What they go through, Nick Mullins, Jimmy Garoppolo, which that was a damn. Trey Lance, damn. Passing on Mac Jones. Like even at the beginning of the season, when Brock Purdy gets hurt, Mac Jones comes in, wins a couple games, and it's like bench Purdy. When Mac Jones comes back, the quarterback controversy, Mac Jones, blah blah blah, and it's like, yo, relax. What does Brock Purdy have to continue to show us that he's the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers? And to see him do it as of late, it's like, hey, yo, come on, baby. Come on, Niners. And I know we can go cherry pick and be like, well, who have they played as of late? Blah, blah, blah. We can do that. We can do that. We could. But we're going to try to keep it positive. We're going to try to keep it positive. But let's pump the brakes on the NFL talk. And let's talk a little bit of college football with our UNM alum, the one and the only, Mr. Tim Foley. Tim, what's up, bro?
Morning. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Tim, Texas A&M, as our friend of the show, Sean Ryder said, he expected them to shite down their leg. Yo, let me see the gear real quick. Is that little Bluey?
Little Bluey, man. He's a huge
Ooh, I like
Bluey
that. My
fan.
kid's gonna like that for sure. My kid's gonna see that and be like, Tim had Bluey on today? How cool. I'm like, yeah. Yo, Tim, my kid, my little daughter, probably our biggest fan. Blows my mind every time. She wakes up in the morning and she'll throw us on. So after the show, she'll probably be like maybe 15 minutes behind. And so whenever we're done with the show, I'll walk out of the room, walk out of the office, and then go down the hall. And I'll walk in, and my daughter's just watching our show, just casually. So I actually have to be careful how I speak now because she's locked in. And every now and then she'll watch a couple of my clips, and there's moments where I've said like shite, and she'll tell me like, "Hey, Dad, you need to delete that. You can't cuss." And I'm like, "All right, hands up. I will delete ASAP." But you have a kid of your own. How's dad life treating you?
It's going good, man. Hold on, let me get this fixed here. Don't know what's
Oh,
happening.
technical difficulties. You would have thought we'd be past technical difficulties because JB's not here, but the technical difficulties haunt us still, Jay. They still haunt us as of late. But it's all good while I wait for Tim to get back. College football. What's the stories right now in college football? Drop in the comments what we think. Where should we go here? I'm thinking. Oh, Tim, you got your little baby. How's dad life been treating you?
It's going good, man. He'll be 3 in February, so we're kind of navigating those terrible twos, and he's he's learning now. He's a little bit late on the speaking, so he's learned like decision making. So he like chooses what he watches on the TV now. So now it takes about half an hour to choose anything for him to watch because he's like, no, no. Now he understands what no means. And I'm almost like, as a parent, you're like, you want your kids to succeed and flourish. I'm almost like, man, I liked it better when you didn't understand the difference between yes and no, and you just watched what I put on the TV. But nowadays he has more choices than anything. And now with all these apps, he's like choosing the app, and then he's choosing the show, and then the specific episode. And I'm just like 45 minutes later, still trying to find something to watch for him.
Yeah, that honestly, that's relatable because I feel like that's me and my wife whenever we're trying to find something to watch late on Netflix, and it's like you just keep going. You're like, no, 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 that looks good. Then you watch the preview, and you're like, no, maybe not that one. Maybe we'll come back, and it's just like you're 30 minutes in, and you're just like, dude, we might as well not watch anything at this point. So
Right.
relatable with the 3-year-old, I would say. But Tim, this weekend, we have to wait another week before we get to watch the playoff games again. But this previous weekend, like I said, Sean Ryder had said that Texas A&M was going to wet the bed. The start of that game, I mean, the crowd, the 12s were electric. As you said, that the day before a game, they get together at around 11 p.m. to kind of rehearse what they're going to look like going into their stadium on game day. When I saw that, I was like, man, this is insane. There's no way Texas A&M loses. And then I tuned into the Pat McAfee simulcast, and it looked from what they were reporting is it was windy as hell, and you could definitely see it in the game and how it affected it. But what was your takeaways from that game with Texas A&M and Miami?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely tell that the weather was a factor. The wind specifically, I mean, it really prevented both quarterbacks from pushing the ball downfield a lot. It was a lot of short throws, and then ultimately that's what led to Miami winning the football game. Is their rushing attack to be able to control the field. And when you look at the final score, a lot of people would think that's a boring football game. In some
Pretty
instances,
good.
it was, but I'm a defensive guy. I love low scoring games. It just goes to show that the margin for error is so small. Whenever you have games that are 45-40, I mean, there was a lot of errors on the defensive side of the football for both teams. So to be able to look at the game from kind of like a 10,000 foot perspective, it was a great football game. Texas A&M definitely didn't have the outcome that they wanted, especially having that home field advantage like you were talking about. But ultimately, Miami came out and I think they played offensively was not a great football game, but it's kind of hard to play in those conditions. But defensively, they
For
came out
sure.
and really showed why they should have been in the college football playoff. And they had a lot of people like me, including, kind of talking down on that in the weeks leading up to it. But I mean, you do that, and then you beat Texas A&M, and then now they have um, a a really big game ahead of them playing Ohio State. But whenever they play Ohio State, they'll be inside. They'll be at your team's field, so they'll be inside. They'll have that glare coming in a little
AT&T.
bit. But other than that, I mean, they're not going to have to deal with any wind, any rain, anything like that. They'll be able to kind of push the ball down the field to their playmakers and be able to make some big plays. It's going to be a real good game to watch. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, for sure. There shouldn't be no glare because the start time is 5:30, so the sun should be going down about that point. If there is any glare, which at that time when the sun is going down, that's probably when it'd be at its worst. It'll only at least be for about 30 minutes before it gets completely dark. But man, AT&T Stadium is in for a treat because they haven't had a treat in quite some time as Dallas Cowboy fans. But that's gonna be a fun one. I don't want to overreact because we do have to take the weather into consideration. It was ugly. I think it was between 15 to 20 miles per hour, if I remember correctly. And I mean, that's going to shut down the passing game pretty quick. You could see just in field goals alone. Like to me, when watching that game, it wasn't completely defensively or a defensive game because they were able to get on the other side of the field. It just seems like they couldn't finish drives and you couldn't really kick a field goal. And when they did, I mean, we saw a couple missed field goals this weekend, but yeah, that was a fun game, man. I like the crowds. I wonder after that game immediately, I thought like, I wonder how soon before teams start, like how soon before colleges start fixing their stadiums, or not fixing but upgrading their stadiums to like put domes everywhere. Because if you think about it, if the future is what it is right now, they're gonna have first week will be a home game, and there's already the argument that we need to have week two be a home games for the teams that have buys, which makes sense, right? Like it's not fair for, or not that it's not, I don't want to use fair. That's probably an overused word there, but it only makes sense that the first round teams and the second round teams reap the benefits of being able to host a home playoff game. I get the semifinals if you want to put those somewhere in a hot spot, and then obviously the finals, like what the Super Bowl is. But I think the first two rounds should be at home. But I wonder like how long before teams start to think about using a dome because they'll have to play those games in December, right?
Yeah, a couple things on that. I mean, about the stadiums, I don't see them. Uh, I don't see schools starting to implement domes to be able to do things like that. And the reason why is because home field advantage. You bet your bottom dollar that that kicker was kicking field goals inside of that stadium the day prior, and even morning of, and they practiced in that stadium doing stuff like that. You can't predict what it's going to be at kickoff, but you have a good feeling of what it's going to be like on your home field. And there's a lot of stadiums where, like, I believe I want to say the Dolphin Stadium is like this, where like the away sideline is in the sun the entire time, no matter
Yeah,
if you play during the
I think
day.
that's
And
all.
those are yeah, and those are strategic advantages that they want to keep happening, and that's a reason why Jerry Jones hasn't put put a curtain down to cover that glare. It's because they practice in there, they know it's there, and it comes as an advantage to them. So I don't see them changing stuff like that. Um, when it comes to like the games being played on campus in the second round, I think everybody's calling for that. Everybody wants to see that. It doesn't do it justice for the best four teams in the country to grind it how they did all year long to be able to get that bye, and then you still don't play at home at all. So I mean, there is that aspect going into it, but the problem here with that is this. I mean, you have the Peach Bowl, you have these huge bowl games that are paying hundreds of millions of dollars for the right to that, and you're not going to see campuses doing that. I mean, you're not going to see Indiana University fork up $50 million to be able to host a round two game on their campus. It's just not going to happen. So we're
You
gonna
don't
have to
think
fix
so?
the structure. No, well, I mean, because it's money, man. I mean, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's all about dollar signs, and they're making too much money for these bowl games, paying the BCS to be able to host these games, and you're not gonna funnel, you're not gonna rearrange that money any which way. The universities aren't going to pay that amount of money to be able to host those games. So the only thing I can think of is obviously what everyone's talking about is increasing the numbers of teams in the college football playoff. I don't see why we can't do a 16 team, and you could get up into the 24. I mean, you see the
Do
FCS
we
do it.
want that though, Tim? After this weekend, do you like? Do we really want that?
I do. And the reason why is because we wouldn't have ran into this problem if it was a 16 team. We would see Texas, we would see Notre Dame, we would see Vanderbilt playing a game. And yeah, you're going to have those group of 5 or group of 6 teams that do squeak in there, and people are all up in arms about these losses that happen. But I mean, every year, I think there's been like the last 6 years, there's been big time schools that have lost by more than 31 points. TCU in the national championship a few years ago. I mean, it's not just these small schools that are losing by these big deficits. It's just a better football team against the worst football team, or you didn't put the
Oh
best
yeah, for
product on
sure.
the field that day.
But with that being said, do we like? So like, why would we go to that? Like, we already see top 10 teams getting their butts whooped by the number 2, number 3 seed. Like, why would we want to expand it to 16? You know what I mean? I think then what's
Uh,
the NFL? The NFL is four. I guess the NFL is 14 right now. I think I would prefer like a 14 team, and where the last 4 seeds kind of almost play like a playing game, kind of similar to what the NBA does. That's what I would like to like right now. It would have been nice to see like Texas matched up against, I don't know, Notre Dame, and then you could see Vanderbilt matched up against who else was there? I mean, you just Tulane. That would have been just to get that kind of matchup over with. Like we look at that Tulane game, and I mean, did you ever feel a moment in that game or the JMU game where they were actually like any type of a threat? I mean, we're looking at the Tulane 41-10 loss to Ole Miss, and then you look at JMU losing to Oregon 51-34. Was there ever a point in that game where you were like, "Oh wow, this team has a shot"?
I mean, maybe at the opening kickoff, but other than that, no. I mean, especially the JMU game. I mean, you saw that there's at one point where Oregon was up what like 21-6 or 21-0, and Moore was 5 for 5 with 3 passing touchdowns, and we're not even halfway through the first quarter yet. So I mean, there is stuff like that that's going to happen, and there are a lot of talks. There's a lot of different commentators on this talking about a few different scenarios where either expanding it to a 16 team playoff. So I heard Kirk Herbstreit talk about yesterday about possibly, and this is not a possibly as in like the NCAA is going to do this. It was just kind of like a we could do this, and it's having 2 different tournaments, kind of how basketball does with the NIT and then the dance, to be able to have like this college football playoff that we're having now. If we expand it to 16 teams, then you have the best 16 teams go in. There's no this conference champion over this conference champion. It's just at the end of the year, the top 16 teams get in, and then there's going to be a group of 5 tournament as well too. So you have the people in the Mountain West, the people in the Sun Belt, to be able to play in a tournament, to be able to show that because that's good football that's being played too.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's probably not at the it's definitely not at the level of the SEC or the Big Ten or some aspects of the ACC, but there's there are some very good teams in this group of five that could make a run. And the question I come up, well, what happens if one of those group of five teams is in the top 16? Then they go and play that game, and then they're up in the dance, and then the next 16 best teams down in the group of five play their playoff just so that they're not left out. But then there's these bowl games that you're trying to throw in that kind of throws a wrench into everything. It's hard, man. I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what number gets expanded to, there's always going to be that team or those two teams that don't get in because of whatever reason. And I like seeing, be, I like being able to see these group of five schools be able to play against these types of schools late in the season like this. Everyone hopes for that like Cinderella story. Um, but the other criticism to that too is back in the day when this was more prevalent, it was Boise State, it was TCU, it was UCF who were in these group of five conferences that were making these runs in the playoffs. But these schools aren't in group of five conferences anymore. I mean, starting next year, Boise State's not even going to be in the Mountain West. So all these schools that I'm talking about, Boise State, TCU, UCF, they've made the jump into those big time premier conferences. So now we're kind of left like the top, the cream of the crop in the group of five. They've kind of been snatched. So now being a group of five, being in the college football playoff doesn't really mean as much anymore because it's not the same caliber of football or
Yeah.
players that are being put together on those teams.
So that'll give essentially a smaller school like a UNM a real possibility to get into the college football playoffs. You're a college football junkie. You just want to see more college ball. I love it. I respect it, Tim. I respect it. But Tim, to kind of pull away from that, the other game that happened that was the most interesting was the Alabama Oklahoma game. Oklahoma start kicking off to a 17-point lead and then blowing it. Some people think that maybe 50 Cent had something to do, not with the comeback, but with the ending of that game as 50 Cent kicks off the fourth quarter when he comes out to Benny Man, wish that the bomb me. And it seemed like that was to hype up the boys at Oklahoma, but it actually might have lit a flyer under Alabama's team as their head coach came out after and said that's actually their pump up song for some of the boys on that team, including their quarterback. What was your takeaways from that matchup?
Well, my takeaways from that is Ty Simpson doesn't really have much culture. I mean, for you to be, for you to like that's a song that your team listens to every Friday, and that's like the song, and for him to not even know who 50 Cent is, it's almost like, come on, dude. But then
Yeah.
also at the end of the day, that this kid was probably born in 2000. You know what I mean? So he's what 20 years, to 12, 13 years younger than us. So I can see that song was big. I remember buying that CD when I was a kid in Roswell. And so like I can see it's cool that it's still being played and it's still a thing, but that sometimes does happen. I mean, sometimes you do something to kind of fire up your squad, not knowing that that team on the other side of the field actually uses that as motivation as well too. But to go back to the game, I mean, it was every Oklahoma fan's nightmare. I mean, I think now they're what 0-6 or 0-5 in the college football playoffs. So they make it to the college football playoffs. They just can't get that first win. And you see, like midway through the game, I mean, they're up 17-0, and every Oklahoma fan is like, "This is it, finally!" Like, and then we can put this thing to rest, and we actually win a college football playoff. They're hosting it. The crowd was crazy. I mean, I was watching College Game Day. They were inside the stadium. You couldn't even hear anything. Um, but to be able to for that to happen is just it's demoralizing as an Oklahoma fan. I mean, and it all started with that 4th and 2 from Alabama inside the red zone, who he threw it to. I can't that the receiver's name is not coming to me, but he's a true freshman. Kid was playing high school football last year. Catches a 4th and 2, breaks 3 tackles, and dives. Like you can tell that like that fight that he had going in for that touchdown is really what sparked that fire to get Alabama to be like, hey, we can win this football game because they were not playing well on both sides of the ball up to that point. And then
Yeah.
right after that, the arguably one of the best punters in the country just drops the football on a punt, and you're sitting here and you're like, what is happening? Is this destiny? Are we just not supposed to ever win a college football playoff game? Because it just seemed like from that point on, it was just downhill, and Alabama took that momentum and ran with it, and I love seeing stuff like that whenever you're a team who's who's away at somebody else's field, with all this hype and everything like that, and you go out and be able to quiet a crowd down like that. It has to be the best feeling, especially with the kind of season that Alabama's had. People are always talking about DeBoer. Is he going to leave? Everybody was hoping, especially every Michigan fan was out there, was hoping that Alabama would lose so that it'd be easier for Michigan to be able to poach DeBoer away from Alabama. Now people are saying that that's not going to happen. I mean, he's even come out and said he's going to be the coach of Alabama this next year, and people at he won himself another year with that win, and you can carry that momentum and still keep going. They're going to play Indiana, and I that's honestly one of the bigger games I'm really looking forward to in a couple weeks is the Indiana Alabama game, just because it's going to be two very physical teams playing, and it really could go either way. I mean, I'm sure Indiana is going to be favored if they're not already, but the way that Alabama played at the end of that game, they can carry that momentum over, and it could be a real problem for Indiana.
Yeah, I Indiana is so hot right now where it's hard to think that they're going to lose. They've been the most fun story. You kind of said that several weeks ago that this Indiana team, if they continue the run that they're on, that's going to be the probably the most fun story coming out of college football. But yeah, Alabama, man, that Oklahoma losing the way they did, it just makes you throw up those little should have been Vanderbilt. Should have been Texas. There's a lot of those folks out there that are saying, hey, maybe Texas would have put up a better fight. Maybe Vanderbilt would have put up a better fight. But that was a good game, man. That was a fun game. The way that to me, I like all the stuff surrounding it. I love the football game, but the stuff I try to make up my own stories going into the game, and like their pump up music before the game kicks off. What there's like 70,000 people out there in that state filling that stadium. To me, the way it looked on TV as I'm watching College Game Day and Pat McAfee's trying to hype up the whole thing, visually on TV didn't look as hyped up as what it seemed like it sounded like in the stadium. So whenever they drop the beat, Pat McAfee's like doing this, but the lights are off, so you can't even see the fans. So I'm like, optically, don't look good. I'm taking Alabama just because of that. Yeah, I, does that even have a factor? No, but idiots like me, that's what I think of right before I'm going to go into a game and before I place a wager. I'm like, I'm just looking for that little nugget, especially when it's a coin toss. You just look for that little nugget that will sway you one way or the other. Because Tim, if you place a bet, you're not much of a NFL watcher or NFL lover like me and JB are, but if you just place a little wager on a team, I guarantee you, all of a sudden you'll become a NFL fanatic. But let's move on. I don't want to get your picks just yet, Tim. We'll make our picks next week as we roll on to the college football playoff games. But let's talk about the bowl games that are happening this weekend. And one of those being our UNM Lobos going against Minnesota on Christmas Eve. That would be this Friday, kickoff time, 2:30 Mountain Standard Time. What have you learned about this matchup, and what are your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're looking at it, you can see, like, kind of behind the scenes, UNM is working. They're hitting the field. They're not taking this time off as like a they are doing a borderline rest. They're not like pounding on them, but you see them out on the field getting work done. I mean, you can really see that they are pushing for this to be the first 10-win season at the University of New Mexico. I don't see them kind of looking at this as just a bowl game. It's a big game for them. Obviously, it's going to be biased, but I'm picking UNM by a million for that game.
By a million. Realistic. What's the line? Excuse me. Do we know what the line is?
I
Hey
don't.
Jake, can you find the line for me real quick? While we wait for him there, let's see the Ray Bowl. Oh, Ray Bowl. Lobos take on Minnesota and Phoenix on December
Minnesota's two and
26th.
a half point favorites.
2-point favorites.
Minnesota's 2.5 point favorites.
What do we know what Minnesota's look like throughout the year by any chance?
Yeah, I mean they've been a halfway decent football team. I mean they're playing in a lot of people are arguing the hardest conference in the Big Ten this year. They're historically a tough football team. They play in Minnesota, and then anytime you're playing in the Midwest late in the year, I mean, you got to be kind of tough to be able to put up with those conditions. So I mean, they're tough individuals. I think it's going to be a very hard fought football game. I don't think it's going to be one way either on for either team. But I do think that UNM wins this game by 5 or more points. And
I
and,
like
and
that.
it does help that it's in Arizona. I mean, I'm sure it's
Down
70
the street.
degrees there right now. Like weather shouldn't really be an issue.
Down the street. Tim, what who sh- who should we be looking who should we watch for? What name pops out to you that we should be paying attention to on national television, as this will be on ESPN the day after Christmas? What a perfect setting for us folks here in New Mexico. Day after Christmas, you're relaxing, you're kind of full, feeling a little upset because you kind of maybe overate or ate too much of things that you shouldn't. So your stomach's making you feel a certain way. Kick back, lay back on the couch, and enjoy this Lobos football game. But who should I have my attention on when I turn on my TV on ESPN?
Uh, Jack Lane is going to be a good person to watch. I don't see him having more than 200 passing yards, but I do see him getting a lot done on the ground. I see him possibly having 1 to 2 rushing touchdowns. I see a lot of trick plays coming. The last game of the year, you're going to pull out everything out of that bag. There's no reason to save it for next year. It's the last game. I really love our tight end Thomas, number 7. I mean, he's a phenomenal football player. I can see him playing at this next level. I think he came from the University of Arizona. I think he's going to have one to two touchdowns. I obviously anticipate Jackson leading that defense. I mean, I see him having 11 plus tackles. I mean, this dude just flies around the field. He's always around the football. So I think those are going to be some big names. I'm I'm thinking we might see something special team wise come to fruition from UNM. I'm thinking either a punt return or a kick return for a touchdown too, because you have to get it done on all three aspects of the game. I mean, just doing offense and defense, and if you don't do very well in the special teams, you can find yourself on the losing end of that battle. And then one of my coaches, probably one of the best coaches I've ever played for, Coach Hutzler, when he was at UNM, he'd always say, "Block a punt, win the game." So I mean, if you do something great on special teams, it's going to translate to that final score as well too.
Atta baby. Special teams can always make the biggest difference in the world. Sometimes not always in a good way if you're on the receiving end of that, but if you're the one inflicting the wounds, atta baby. Come on, special teams. Let's make a big play. Tim, give me your score prediction there.
For the UNM Minnesota game, I'd say UNM 31, Minnesota 27.
31-27. Oh, that's gonna be a fun game. They're at 2:30 Mountain Standard Time here locally. And then to end the conversation, Tim, before I let you go, tell me about Iowa facing the SEC in Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia, an Albuquerque native.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt's going to run away with this. Iowa's been a good football team this year. They've kept games close. Um, but you can tell that Vanderbilt kind of has some unfinished business. They feel like they should have been in that college football playoff. And I think that they're going to come out and put a product on the field to show that. They want people at the end of the day to be like, well, look what Vanderbilt did. They could have put up a better fight than JMU or Tulane did. So I anticipate them coming out and playing very well. And they've had plenty of time to get ready for this game. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and Diego's coming out not after not winning the Heisman. I'm sure he's going to want to kind of, because I mean, at the end of the day, this is still part of your resume. They would always tell us at UNM that like whenever you're putting job applications and you hand over a resume every Saturday morning or night, depending on what time you're playing, you're putting your resume out there for the entire country to watch. And not only that, it's cemented there for life. I mean, there's still games nowadays. Or if I'm flipping through the channels, if I'm flipping through ESPN late at night, sometimes they're playing rerun games of UNM, and I can see myself playing there. So if you make a mistake, you'll be able to see that 15 years from now. Your kid will probably be sitting next to you and be like, "Dad, was that you just got mossed for a touchdown?" So I mean, like you have to have that outlook every time you go out there on that field, because it's something that could get replayed forever. And I think that Vanderbilt's going to come out and really handle business. But before we go, I also want to talk a little bit about the New Mexico Bowl. It's going to be a great game. I'm going to be there in person
Okay.
on Saturday, so I'll be able to send over some video and stuff. We have San
Heck
Diego
yeah.
State playing North Texas. Uh, North Texas kind of flew under the radar a little bit this year. Mestaburger, I think, is his name. Let me see.
Wait, with
Uh,
North Texas, they just got are they the ones that hired who they just got a new head coach, right?
yeah, they did because their head coach left. Um, he and then their quarterback was also the leading passer in the country this year, and
And
his
he's
story is phenomenal, man. I mean, his name's Drew Mestamaker. He's North Texas's quarterback. Led the entire country in passing yards. And get this kid didn't even play. He's a freshman, and he didn't even play quarterback in high school. So this
what do you
kid,
do? What do you play?
he, he was the backup quarterback, and he was a safety. He had, I want to say, third string. He did not play one snap of varsity football as a quarterback. Walked on to North Texas, got the starting quarterback job, and led the entire country in passing yards this year. Phenomenal. And
Come on.
he's already said that he's most likely going to be entering the transfer portal after this game. He's going to supposedly he's going to come out and say it after the game whether he's transferring or not. But everyone knows that this guy's going to transfer. He's going to leave and go to a bigger school.
And that's why we can't expand the playoffs, Tim, because of that. Once you see a team have a little bit of success, I mean, look at Tulane and JMU. The coaches are gone, along with probably those rosters as well. Until they can get some regulations on these damn teams, it's it's the wild, wild west in college football as of late. But what about San Diego State? San Diego? Anything nice you'd like to say about them?
They're going to lose.
What was that?
I said they're going to lose.
Okay, so we're big North Texas fans here. All right. Had it, baby. Well, Tim, I appreciate you rocking with me. I thank you for joining us. And next week we will break down the college football playoffs, and then we'll get your picks and hopefully be safe out there this weekend or Friday, right? Be safe on Friday. Safe travels, and tell the family hi and Merry Christmas to you and your fam. God bless you guys, and I love you, man. Appreciate you joining the show with me, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only, Mr. Tim Foley.
Merry Christmas.
Jay, that bowl game for UNM, that's gonna be fun, bro. That one's gonna be a good one. Kickoff time 2:30 Mountain Standard Time on ESPN, and then you'll have the Albuquerque native Diego Pavia in on ESPN as well. That game will take place in Florida, and that kickoff time is let me double check 10 a.m. What? Why is it so early? That's insane. 10 a.m. kickoff, December 31st. Saturday game, Iowa Vanderbilt. To me, 5.5 point favorites, bro. That may be. I'm putting money on that one for sure. Give me Vandy. There's no way after all the talk that's been happening after the Heisman ceremony, all that stuff that happened with Diego Pavia, it seems to have shut down. It seems like someone's gone in his ear. We haven't seen any antics online or on the media, anything. So to me, that tells me Pavia and them boys are locked in to lay pound town on these boys and the Iowa boys, for a team that's not known for the offense whatsoever. So expect Vandy to go out there and put it to them. 5.5 points, give me that. Give me that, Jay. We need to go to Riodoso, get a ticket in, and put the money on Vandy and the boys. Diego Pavia. That's what's happening this weekend for me. UNM. Come on, boys. Come on. Let's get to our first 10 game win season, and let's set the momentum of what to expect next year. Because the wheels are turning right now. The wheels are turning. If you go onto their website, the real ones, you can make a donation. Some would say it's us just investing in the future of Albuquerque. You donate a little, the team does well. A lot of money is going to come flood into that city, a city that needs it, a city that absolutely needs it. But let's move on. Let's talk a little DK Metcalf before I let you guys go. Nate, Sorry, brother. I didn't want to stop the college football conversation, but yes, we will talk about the I'm assuming you're talking fantasy football championships, but let's go into the DK Metcalf conversation. DK has been suspended for 2 games is what's being reported by Adam Schefter. Let me pull this up for you guys real quick. Un momento. All right. Adam Schefter is reporting Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf 2 games for the swipe he took at a fan during Sunday's game in Detroit. Metcalf still can appeal, but he is slated to miss the Steelers' upcoming potential game versus the Browns. They got the Browns this weekend, and then they have the Baltimore Ravens to end the season. And the Steelers, I misspoke yesterday. The Steelers only need to win one of the last 2 games to get into the playoffs and win the division. Now, this makes it pretty interesting. For an offense that already hasn't looked great, you remove their number 1 wide receiver. And against the Cleveland Browns team, kind of feels like they found something. Judkins getting hurt last week. I believe he tore his ACL, ripped his knee apart. That's sad. That's so sad for the Cleveland Browns because they moved on from Nick Chubb, and it seems like they found their next Nick Chubb 2.0, a little more athletic. And now he gets hurt. And now there's conversations, the 21-day window open up for Deshaun Watson. Will he be the starting quarterback for the Browns next year? All that stuff is starting to circulate. You watch the Shador Sanders interviews, and it's like, how do you not like this guy? How do you not root for this guy? But now they're playing. Now they have the possibility to play spoiler to the Pittsburgh Steelers and to make the Week 18 matchup a hell of a matchup between Lamar Jackson and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Lamar's still questionable because of his back, which he went on and said yesterday that he gave himself up and kind of took a cheap shot to the back, got a knee to the back. But that's football, baby. That is football, baby. So it is what it is. But man, this is kind of set. The NFL you almost get the feeling that the NFL 2-game suspension is like, hey, let's make the end of this season a little interesting. There's a lot of teams out. There's a lot of spots that have been clinched. Let's make it a little juicy. Why not? And what's coming out of this report is so shortly after all this happened, I guess DK spoke with Ocho Cinco on Nightcap. I mean, he didn't talk to him on the show, but he called him and then reported on Nightcap by Ocho Cinco is that there was a racial slur used by the fan that caused the altercation from DK Metcalf. The fan obviously goes on and says, that is not what I said. He's lawyered up. So you expect that this whole situation is going to get nasty. Now, what will come out of it? Probably nothing. There's microphones everywhere. Will the NFL feel the need to give that to the public? I don't think so. Well, there's no win-win in that situation. You know what you do in that situation is you go and you just settle. That kid with the blue hairs probably got season tickets for the rest of his life. And if he doesn't, there's a couple millies coming his way. If he's banned for life, there's a couple millies coming his way. Because if he's not lying and he didn't use any racial slur, and DK saying that, that's not just a lawsuit for you physically harming an individual. Now that's defamation of character. Because it's going to be hard for Buddy to get a job, or it's going to be hard for Buddy to walk the streets. I mean, we saw his face in 4K. Now, you tell me a brother sees him in the streets and he's just going to walk freely? If that's what he said. Like this is turning into a whole thing. And it's he said, she said. And if a settlement does happen, you almost get the feeling that DK's lying. If a settlement doesn't happen and DK fights this, ban that kid. And he should have been slapped and maybe pulled off the damn thing. There's something now there has to be a line drawn between the fans and the players as of late. You see it worse in the NBA because they're so damn close. And you're almost more surprised how there's not a malice in the palace more often in the NBA. I mean, we've seen Russell Westbrook in plenty of altercations, right? With the fans, calling him Russell Westbrook, which to me, that's nothing crazy. That's nothing crazy. And I get it, watch your mouth on my name, blah, 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 that good stuff. But, it could be far worse. A little spin on your name shouldn't hurt your feelings that bad. But it's all alleged as of right now. He said, she said. How much information will the NFL give out? Like I said, to me, if this is a settlement, then it's hard for me to believe that DK wasn't lying. But if that's what DK, if that really happened, then it is what it is, baby. And we should just we should set up a GoFundMe to pay for that fine and pay for that settlement because that kid should be slapped in the mouth. Or not even a kid. I guess I was a full-grown adult, right? Full-grown adult, Jay. Full-grown adult. Making his impact on the game, stamping it on the game. But he got the reaction he wanted, and that's today, baby. That's 2025. It's unfortunate, but that's how it works. But you want to know what's crazy is, I mean, that's been happening forever. That's been happening forever. You talk to players that have played in Boston, and I mean, it seems like that happens every day. It's just that it's being caught on camera now. That's a problem within itself. But DK, you gotta be smarter than that, man. You gotta be smarter than that. You mean way too much to your team to lose composure. And I guess there's history between this guy from when DK was in Seattle. So that makes me even believe more that maybe he didn't say what DK is allegedly saying he said, using a racial slur. Because there's history there. So that means that he could have easily triggered him using anything if there's history there. But also, DK, why are we over there? Like, why are we even putting ourselves in a bad situation? Like, I'm not trying to put this on DK for his reaction. Like, some people you just can't cross that line. And I respect that because we all should have a line where that can't be crossed. But I just hate that you were in that situation to begin with. Why are we so close to the sideline? I mean, why are we so close to them, to the fans anyways? I mean, I know obviously you hear them chirping, but there's no need to go address them. There's no, honestly, you win if you don't address him. And then he just looks like a fool. Because he's just rah, 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 30-year-old, 40-year-old man over here, rah, 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 rah. And guess what? Buddy's got to wake up the next day and go to work. So you tell me who's the winner in that situation. That dude went to work the next day and had a field day, bro. You made his day. You made his week. You made his month. You made his life forever. Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, Mama's Day, Daddy's Day, Easter, 4th of July, Cinco de Mayo, Mexican independence, if you want to throw it in there. Like Juneteenth, everything, bro, is coming out, and he's like, yo, brother, one time? This one time? You know what I mean, Jay? This bro's at every dinner. Like, yo, one time, dude, DK was acting a fool. I said, yeah, I called him by his first name, middle name, last name. Didn't like it. Went off, grabbed me. Ugh. I wasn't even scared. I looked him in the eye. You know, that story is going to change slowly through the years. It's going to go from DK did this to, yo, I told him to come up to me. I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared. DK made that kid's life or adult's life. I keep calling him a kid, but it's a grown adult. Yeah, don't have he don't even have, he's not even gonna have a job on Monday because he's awaiting the settlement that he's about to receive. And bro, if DK is lying, That check just got bigger. That check doubled. I hate to just stay on this, but it's just like, damn, DK. But I guess you're giving out to charity. You could just you can consider that you can consider that changing somebody's life. DK changed somebody's life. That is crazy, bro. That is crazy. Imagine cashing that check, man. That's crazy. Crazy. I feel bad for athletes, but hey, like it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Fans, we gotta be better. We gotta be better. We gotta draw a line within some of the things that we say. But at the end of the day, if that's your reaction and you're willing to risk your entire life, your bread, to basically donate to another individual, who is the real loser here? And that sucks for DK, man. Because now DK is gonna have to hear about it. Now DK is disgruntled. Now DK is bad for the locker room. Now DK, like this, there just was no win for DK in that situation, and it sucks that it had to happen. Now you got the Steelers. Now you got the Steelers having to absolutely win against a team that they struggle with, divisional opponent in the Browns, and then after that have to go play the Baltimore Ravens for everything at stake. So I guess if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you better hope the Baltimore loses this weekend so you don't have to deal with any of that fuss in week 18. But damn, DK, come on. It is what it is. Kansas City is moving out of Kansas City, Missouri, and they are moving to Kansas City, Kansas. Kansas City, commonly known as KCK, is the third most populous city in the U.S. state of Kansas and the county seat of Yondet County. I think I'm saying that right. It is an inner suburb of the older and more populous Kansas City, Missouri, after which it which it is named. As of 2020 census, the population of the city was 156,607, making it one of four principal cities in the Kansas City metropolitan area. From my understanding, Jay, is that this isn't too far of a drive from the current location, which is down the street, Kansas City, Kansas, from Kansas City, Missouri. My best friend got married in Kansas City, Missouri, and I remember looking up tickets. I remember when he's like, "Yo, we're getting married in Kansas City," and I remember looking up plane tickets. My dumbass was gonna fly to Kansas because I didn't realize Kansas City was in Missouri, and then that's when I was like, "Oh crap, the Chiefs don't even play in the city that they're from," and which actually kind of blows my mind because we see this all the time, right? The Dallas Cowboys playing in Arlington. Before Arlington, it was Irving, Texas. But I mean, you also see it in Chicago. We had this conversation 2 weeks ago. Chicago is moving from Arlington, where they're at right now in Chicago, to down the street in Indiana, which is only a 30-minute drive from the stadium. So it's really not even that far. You get more space. You'll probably get a casino. This is going to work out for everybody. It sucks that one city's losing it and another city's reaping the benefits of it. But ultimately, if the team wins, if the team has success, you're going to make the assumption that the entire state will reap the benefits of the success of that team. So congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs, who will be hosting a Super Bowl down the line, who will be adding a dome from what it seems like to their stadium, for at least from what the pictures are that are coming out in this story. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chicago Bears on what they're supposed to be getting come here soon. Buffalo Bills are also joining that as they're getting their stadium, I believe next year, if I'm correct there, Jay. Yeah, so Buffalo will be getting a new stadium, which is cool. No, they're staying true to their roots, but I think they're adding like some technology to help melt the snow so that way the field doesn't get crazy. But I wonder if that's ever going to come. Like, at what point? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pull that up. I wonder at what point, like, because they have like, to me, it doesn't make sense that you don't put Josh Allen in a dome. You're a passing offense. Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you build the dome? But Jay, let's end the show with this. Let's end the show with what the Christmas slate is going to look like this upcoming Christmas Day, as the NFL games kind of stink. The NFL games kind of stink. But it it seems like the NBA is probably going to save us. The NBA is going to save us this Christmas Day. I hate to say it, but this is what the schedule looks like. These are Eastern times. So at 10 o'clock, we're going to have the Cleveland Cavaliers against the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell. Sounds like we're going to start getting into a lot of NBA chatter. That's going to be fun. And then at 10 a.m. also, or I'm sorry, at 11 a.m., the Dallas Cowboys will be in Washington against the Commanders in a game that has no playoff implications whatsoever, no seeding implications whatsoever. This is all to see which team has better draft position. Cowboys being the favorites in this game. This is definitely a game that you just kind of have in the background as you and your family enjoy each other's company. But after that, we'll have Shane Gillis, the best team in the NBA as of late. For a lot of teams are saying this is the best team ever. They may break the Bulls and Warriors record for most games won in a season. And the way they're looking, bro, Shane Gillis, Shane Gillis, Shane Gill Alexander. Go, what a dog! What a dog! They called him the free throw merchant last year, but this kid is so good. This kid can do everything. This kid can stop on the dime, pull up and shoot. This kid can take it to the basket. This kid can kick a fade away. This kid can shoot the three. I mean, this kid could do it all with the left hand and the right hand. I wouldn't even be surprised if somehow this kid could play soccer. And he's going against Wimby, the future, is what they say. That's a 12:30 afternoon game. What a game! And then now you have the Lions and the Vikings. The Lions still are hopeful if they can win out and Green Bay loses out. So Minnesota Vikings can shut the door, blow out yet another candle on another team's season. As they did to the Dallas Cowboys, they can do the same to the Detroit Lions. And then follow that will be the Dallas Mavericks against the Golden State Warriors, who are sitting at 500, won a game last night against the Magic. Steph Curry leading that team. Yet again, Steph Curry is so fun to watch. So fun to watch. You just throw that guy on TV and it's magic. Watching Steph Curry is one of the coolest things that I've gotten to experience the last several years, and I'm sure as do you guys. But they'll be playing here at 3 p.m. on Christmas Day. Draymond Green, bit of an altercation with Steve Kerr after the game. Draymond Green just said, "Hey, I had to remove myself. For, that conversation wasn't going to go anywhere." So he went to the locker room. Steve Kerr was interviewed. Steve Kerr said, "Yeah, he wasn't going to get back in the game. That was just something that it needed some cooling." So from what they're saying is, hey, it is what it is. It happened. We're going to move forward. We'll learn from this. It's no bigger. We don't need to make a bigger deal than what it is. That's what they're telling us. Of course, we've seen stories come out of Golden State that where they gave us one pitch and it was a complete other one. And I'm not saying this team's lied to us, but they've lied to us. And with the trade deadline, I mean, it's still some time away, but with this team that needs to make moves to get better, you wonder, is this the stepping stone to slowly move away from Draymond Green? Or is this Draymond Green trying to get teamed up with LeBron James? As some would say, his father, his daddy. TBD. And then following that game, you got Kevin Durant and the Rockets against LeBron James and the Lakers, where LeBron has come out and said, I'd rather be on my couch with my family and my kids. With him saying that, and it's at home, granted, to play the game, you probably take 8 hours of your day, right? To prep, warm up, go shoot around, go home, eat, go shoot around again, get ready for the game. That's a 6 a.m. tip off. Kevin Durant. If I'm betting money after that statement from LeBron James, I'm taking Kevin Durant and the Warriors. I mean, I'm taking Kevin Durant and the Rockets. Which that Rockets team, spicy, looking good. They look good, man. They look good. And then to end our night will be the Broncos versus the Chiefs. A game that doesn't matter. No Patrick Mahomes, but can the Broncos bounce back after that loss against Jacksonville? That's going to be the question into that game. Can they bounce back? And then you got the Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets to end the night for us. And that game alone will be fun as well. You got Edwards versus the Joker, Jamal Murray. Them boys are good too over there in Denver. But we'll have JB will join me again tomorrow. Get off Steph's D. Shane Gillis, yeah, my fault. I didn't mean to say that. Shane Gillis, Alexander, but get off Steph. Steph's fun, man. If you don't like you want, I know that you feel for Steph in your heart right now. You're like, come on, make some moves. Let's not waste this talent. Jimmy Butler, step up. Pods, come on. Kuminga, come on. We can't be sitting at 500 with Steph Curry on the roster. We got to do better. We absolutely have to do better. But let's end the day with this, Jay. Let's end the day with this. Let's go into one more locker room. And that'll be the San Francisco 49ers locker room. As we said earlier in the show, the storyline of this team. It's there for us. It is there for us. So let's enjoy it while it's in front of us. What a story here. Let's go in.
Hey, guy, hey, so proud of everyone in this room, man. Hey, we found out last night we got into the playoffs. All right, we were pumped up, and all you guys did was come out today, be a better team, play that much harder. Guys, we can get better every week, man. Love everybody here. It was awesome. A few people I want to single out real quick, man. Like, it took everybody, guys. And D Winters, you finishing off like that. Hey, D, now you got the pick six, but the drive before I was watching you, they ran a lookie, you shut them down, and that's when we had that sacked fumble for about a 20-yard line. Back to back. Hey, and
about to give him.
not too bad of a day. 5 touchdowns.
Bro, so humble, bro.
All right, bring it in, man.
Hey, man, get here tight. Hey, listen, bro. We just got to keep stepping in the right direction, man. Hey, tunnel vision. I know we got the holidays. That's cool. We working right now. Tunnel vision. Everybody just worry about Chicago, worry about Seattle, then we try to get in that dance, man. Let's do it. Let's go now. Niners on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, man, Brock Purdy. Just a little bit of tug at the heart. You just want to see success for the kid. It feels like Steph Curry-esque as far as off the field antics. Like everything that this guy does seems to be right. Everything that he says seems to be the right thing. The way he's been playing has been perfect to who he seems to be as a person. So shout out to Brock Purdy. Shout out to the 49er fan base, the 49er faithful, as they call themselves. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you guys rocking with me today. A 6:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time kickoff to the show. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, though, we're going to be a bit of a change. We're not going to kick the show off until 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time because my boy is in California, and he will be rocking with me in the morning. 8 a.m., we'll give our picks as we have to give them early because we're going to be off on the Christmas day, and then we'll be back. I'll be back on Friday, and then we'll be back. Oh, Jay tried to cut me off. Jay said, yo, it's time to go to work, son. Send these folks to work. My fault, Jay. My fault. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys rocking with us. We'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget, at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time this time with JB and me breaking down all the picks and reacting to the news. NFL news, baby. With that being said, I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. Everybody change their life. Shout out PMS. See ya.